Well, let me tell you the story of Eric Winkle Brown. Certainly our greatest aviator, probably the world's greatest aviator. Born 1920, right at the time when aviation had started to pick up after the First World War. Develops a love of Germany and of Germans and goes to university, learns to fly, and then the Second World War happens. He becomes a naval aviator. He flies operational sorties from the carrier HMS Audacity. He's sunk. He shoots down enemy aircraft. It's a boy's own story just in the 4 months of being on this aircraft carrier. But then he develops a career. His career is in test flying. He takes airplanes to the limit. Does it work? Can we land it? What can we do to make it safer for pilots to operate, more lethal for the enemy? All of these things. He then devotes his career. I mean, he only took Wednesday afternoon off to play rugby to keep fit. I mean, we're talking here about somebody who is just quite unique. Goes through life, puts the first jet on an aircraft carrier, for example, teaches the American astronauts, the naval astronauts of the Gemini program, about the finer points of aviation, flies under bridges, gets arrested, upsets everybody by doing unauthorized flying, borrows an aeroplane to go and see his girlfriend in Northern Ireland when he's in Scotland, and if it hadn't have been foggy in the morning, he would have got away with it. This is a man who is incredible, flies the first jets and whatever. And yet all the time, this is a man who'd come from incredibly humble beginnings. He'd been a foundling. He'd been born out of wedlock, as they used to say then, and been abandoned by his mother. Picked up by a lovely family in Scotland. He became a Scot, although he was born in England. He became a Scot in every way. He was actually the greatest Scot of the 20th century, according to the Daily Record. So what I've done is, I think I've put together his life in a way that has warts and all, because he wasn't perfect by any means. 544 pages. It's a really good read, but also you need to listen to the podcast as well, because this allows me to just amplify a few wonderful anecdotes of a man I knew for 40 years, proud to call his friend, or he was proud to call me his friend, a mutual admiration society that we had. Loved him dearly.